Hi, and welcome to the BookishStitcher podcast. My name is Jeanette. You can find me on Ravelry, Instagram, and Goodreads as BookishStitcher, all one word. Hope you guys have had a great week since I last recorded, and to all the fathers out there and the single moms that do both roles, happy Father's Day yesterday. And so this is going to be, as you can probably tell, because you can already see the time, a short podcast because I just found out just a little bit ago that my husband's parents, my in-laws, are coming in tomorrow. So we've got to get everything ready and wash the linens and just get all the stuff ready for them and kind of have just stuff ready for visitors because we don't have a guest bedroom or anything. So we got to get all that set up and like get the couches ready. And also, since it's summertime, my kids have been kind of playing with their toys out a lot more than normal. So I got to get all that cleaned up and everything, and that all has to be done fairly soon. So this is going to be a quick one, and they are going to be here for almost 3 weeks. So I don't know how the podcast is going to, like when it's going to be up. I will post on the Ravelry group and Instagram and stuff when I can to kind of let you guys know, but because normally this is a weekly podcast, but since I'll have visitors for 3 weeks and they don't want me, taking a lot of time away from them when they're here, I probably will try to sneak in podcasts, but we'll have to see how it is. So I'll just let you guys know. But yeah, it's been a fun, very, very busy week since I last podcasted. There's been a lot of time in the pool with my kids swimming, and I always have to laugh because I see people posting pictures on Instagram of like their kids playing in the pool or them in front of a pool with their knitting and their beverage, and I am not at that stage of life yet. I have to be in the pool with my kids, especially my daughter, not so much my son, but to make sure she doesn't drown. If I were just trying to knit next to the pool and be like, oh, have fun children while I knit, I would needing to perform some safety things on my daughter after she drowned. So yeah, I can't quite do that yet, but I look forward to the day that I can, and right now I'm definitely enjoying being in the water with her and kind of having her swim to me. She's just starting to kind of learn to swim, so it's been a lot of fun. But as you can see from the title of this episode, I got to do something really fun. We had the swimming, we had birthday parties, it's been a full week. But on Saturday, I got to drive out to my friend Katie's home in the country, and she has a beautiful home, and there's this area in her backyard that's like cascading waterfall with lily pads and flowers and koi fish, and it's just like the most peaceful area you can possibly imagine. And when it's not burning Texas hot, I can see that I would not ever want to leave that area to sit back there and knit. So I got to spend some time back there sitting and talking. It was kind of a knitting slumber party because there were 7 of us and we all hung out and had snacks and talked out in her backyard. And then I got to watch my first ever movie in a media room, like one of those giant rooms where there's a screen that's huge and you have like your own little recliner with cup holders, like fancy movie seats. So that was so much fun. I've never gotten to be in a house that had one of those and like watch a movie, but so her house was just awesome and lovely. Thank you so much, Katie, for letting us all hang out there. And the movies we watched were Moana, and then we watched Twilight #1, skipped Twilight #2, and went straight to Twilight #3. So we were up till almost 4 a.m. and I have not been up that late in over a decade. So I knit some during the movie. I think I knit the most during Moana, and then it just, as the night went on, I just kind of had a blanket over me and I was kind of watching the films where making fun of / talking through the Twilight ones and different things like that. So it was a lot of fun and I enjoyed it so much. But let's get into the knitting. So this one would almost be an FO, but I'm just enjoying it so much that I've been kind of going slow on it. And this is in a bag that my friend Selma gifted to me in a swap. It's her Etsy store's Little Creek Designs, and it has butterflies. And this is the One Scotch Hat by Thea Coleman, Babycocktails. That's what I'm doing this month. And it's so squishy. I have never, to my knowledge, knit a hat in a singles, a worsted weight singles, and it's the squishiest, best feeling I can imagine. My husband was like, can I keep that? I was like, no, this is going for a charity for Hats for Homeless, but he loves it. And I really like the way, so I'm on the decreases, I'm almost done. I really like the way this darker gray is playing with the light kind of ice green blue. yarn. That was just a scrap I had left over, and then the gray was a full skein. So I also think I'd really like to knit, I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but a cap in singles worsted, but fisherman, well, some people call it brioche, some people call it fisherman's rib, fisherman's stitch, but it just be like make this even squishier. But yeah, so it's that hat almost done. Then my Paloma sweater, my next Thea Coleman Babycocktails, is in my Bags by Awesome Granny, and this got a little bit of love, but only like a few rows. I'll just show. I'm almost to the armhole. The part where you decrease for the armholes. So that is it. I'm knitting it out of some O wool. This is my first time using O wool, and it's in the Legacy Bulky in the Rain Cloud color. And it's so nice and squishy. It's very bouncy yarn. And it's done in pieces because the weight of the yarn with the bulky is so heavy that for structural integrity you kind of want it to be done in pieces and have seams. The next thing I worked on, and that I've really been in a shawl mood lately, where I just want to knit long rows back and forth and just have it grow. And that's where my happy spot has been, which is odd because it's normally my happy spot is like stripy socks, where it's like next stripe, next stripe. But as you'll see, I don't have any socks. Well, I have socks I'm working on, but not like a lot. I would knit a couple rows a day or something, so I'm not going to show those. I'm just having some green tea. Actually, my friend Katie gave me that. When we were at her house, she was giving out different tea stuff that she had that she didn't want. And this is my ash, it's in my Diana Couture Serena bag that I love for my multiple color shawls. This is my Ashburn by Melanie Berg. And last week I was down here, had a little tiny beginnings of a shawl. So I knit this is what I brought to Katie's house to knit on for the knitting slumber party. So I knit all this, and I have started adding in the pattern of the second color. So I don't know if you can see it, but it's a cream white color. The main body color right now is this green, and the pattern part is in this cream, and there's a blue in the bottom, and these are all skein yarn. In the Highlands, the Crimea, and then the blue is called Perfect Day. And I'm just loving knitting on this so much. And next, my new cast on for Babycocktails for this week. It's in a loop London bag. I have never gotten to go to London. Someday I would really love to. And there's so many knitting friends that I would love to see if I ever made it across, or when I make it across the pond, let's say when. But yeah, and I want to say congratulations to Amy Soros on her beautiful baby girl, who is so cute, and I need to finish up her package that I'm sending her. But this is a hat that I am knitting out of some Shelter in the Thistle colorway. And I am doing the Babycocktails Hot Toddy pattern. And I've just barely cast on and started the first row, so there's not much to see here. But this is going to be you can kind of see the yarn. It's this purple with different flecks of other colors. And this is going to be a Christmas present for my brother's girlfriend, who I really like. She was very sweet. The first time I met her was at Thanksgiving, and she came in and she was just so warm and just giving hugs to everybody. And I absolutely just loved her right away. She was so awesome. And my brother definitely deserves a really awesome girl, because he hasn't had the best luck with women being nice to him. And so I'm glad to get that to her. And she's from Mexico. She just recently came to the United States, and so I get to practice my Spanish with her, which is awesome. And that's all my knitting. I did spin a little bit this week, thanks to Brenda, Good Yarn, because the Tour de Fleece is coming up. And we have an awesome team. There's like people joined, and it's not just Brenda and I. And so yeah, it's really fun. There's been a lot of chatter on that thread, so it's great. And I have been trying to get my loop bump off the wheel, so I've been spinning a little bit each day, and I think I'll definitely do it. And I've been getting excited about spinning again, thinking about what braids I'm going to spin for Tour de Fleece. So that has been just the best part of this whole thing, is getting excited about spinning again. My daughter actually gave me some snacks for the podcast. She wanted me to show them to you. This is coffee, but apparently it's strawberry coffee because there are strawberries in my coffee. And I'm supposed to stir them in, I guess. And then she gave me a little cupcake to eat, although it's fake. But she was like, here you go for your podcast. So she's very cute she loves to make me stuff to have while I'm on the podcast, or to show you guys, as you've seen some of her artwork. But yeah, spinning. And then for the group news for the BookishStitcher podcast, I drew for the box of unclaimed prizes, and the winner was post number 14, Penny Gale. So Penny Gale, when you see this, contact me and I will get that in the mail to you. She recommended, I asked you guys to recommend a book that you couldn't put down. I think she recommended The Life We Cannot Bury, but I'm not sure, or bury. But yeah, so I'm gonna definitely check in and add a whole bunch of those to my Goodreads list. And then thank you everybody for your suggestions last week about my shawl catastrophe. I'm kind of more over it now than I was last week, because I've had some time and distance and stuff. It's still not like, I'm not like, yay, that happened, but I'm kind of like, oh, okay. But so many of you said that you would like the shawl, so I'm going to open up a thread on Ravelry. And because we were so busy last week, I meant to try some of the solutions that you guys told me. I know a lot of you wrote to me about vinegar, which I hadn't tried. I did try synthropol, I did try citric acid, I did try a whole host of things. But there were a couple things. I know Chris Kelly introduced me to something I'd never heard of that I put into my Amazon cart. I don't remember what it's called right now, but it is another chemical thing. And so I wanted to try some of those, but it's been so busy. And then with having visitors coming in for 3 weeks, I'm not going to have any time for that. So I'm just going to put up a thread in the Ravelry group, and you can go and enter to win that shawl if you would like. Just know that it will bleed on you if you get it wet. But I mean, I'm sure you can try some of the vinegar and stuff like that to see. And then I also wanted to say a huge thank you to everyone who came out and supported the Open Skies, my Open Skies yarn, my shop on Etsy. Last Tuesday, I introduced the Summer Skies at night because it's a nighttime colorway, and so many of you loved it. I got so many notes about it, and people that order were like, this is going to be the next, big yarn color. People just loved it. And it just shows that, like, I absolutely know nothing, because it's so not colors that are in my wheelhouse, because I was trying to, and a lot of people said so much how well I did with replicating the picture to the yarn. So thank you. Julie kindly left a review on my Etsy shop saying that. And so thank you so much to everybody who said that. But I was just trying to recreate from the picture that won, and I need to mail off the skein to the winner of that sometime this week, hopefully. And because I still have more podcast prizes that need to be mailed out. If you're waiting for something from me, it's coming. It's been so busy, and hopefully with my in-laws here, I'll get some time to do that. But the colors for that were so out of my pink, purple, well, not pink, but like purple, green, and blue, and gray, and sometimes pink wheelhouse, that I wasn't sure that people would like it, but people loved it, so I'm very glad. And I'll be dyeing up some more of that, and I'll be dyeing up the custom orders or the pre-orders while my in-laws are here. I can convince them to play with the kids while I dye yarn. That will be even better. But yeah, I'm excited to get all those up. So the last thing for today is the book. And this book is such a treat, and I loved it so much, and I'm so excited to talk to you about it, because if you have any kids in your life that if your kids are going to a birthday party and you need a good book to bring for a present, or if you're going to give a present to a kid, anything like that, or if you yourself love kids' book, because I know I do. This book was fantastic. I gave it a 5 stars, absolutely loved it. I think it would make a great movie. I can't say enough about this book, and I don't know how popular it is because I had not heard of it before I purchased it, but The book is Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library by Grabenstein. And this book, so if you like puzzles, if you love books, if you love Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, then I can almost guarantee you would love this, because the author of this loved Charlie and the Chocolate Factory so much, but he also loved books. So he decided to kind of incorporate Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and move it into a library. And so the premise is these kids write these essays saying, so a new library is opening up, a public library, and there hasn't been one in town for a while. And as a celebrating of the new library, they're allowing 12 5th or 6th graders to spend the night in the library before it officially opens. And they have to write an essay saying why they would like to do it, and then they can be picked. So the 12 kids get picked, they go into the library. The man who helped fund the library and kind of get it going, who loves books, is kind of the Willy Wonka type character, and he is a board game creator. Like, that's where he's gotten a lot of his money, but he loves books, so he's contributing back to this place where he grew up, and it was so influential to him by helping fund the library. And so these kids are in the library overnight, and there's games and stuff like that. But when they wake up the next morning, they find out that they are locked in the library. Not in a scary way, but Mr. Lemoncello comes over the thing and says that since he does these board games, he does commercials, and he's very famous. And that there's going to be the biggest game of all is Escape from the Library, and whoever wins gets to star in all of his commercials for his board game company. And he tells the kids, if you don't want to play the game, then you can leave. And a couple kids do, because they have like soccer games or different things like that they've already committed to. But the other kids stay, and the entire book is filled with puzzles, different pictograms that you have to kind of figure out the meaning. And my son and my husband absolutely loved going through and figuring out the puzzles. There are so many, because it's at a library, literary references to different books in this, that it's amazing and wonderful for all people who like reading to kind of see how many you can find. He has in the back all this kind of like, did you find this? Did you find this? So it's absolutely just the most fun book. And I think it'd be a great summer read if you're looking for a book to kind of keep your kids entertained, or, like I said, a wonderful present. I think this would be just such a great present, or if you would like to read it. But it's a very interesting story, and I think it kind of has a very good message about teamwork. And so, yeah, that's my book for this week. Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library by Grabenstein. And that is everything for this quick little episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to go. My husband is giving my daughter a bath right now, and so that's why I had a tiny little bath window. So if you heard any ambient noise, it was crashing of bath toys. But I'm going to go and help him wrap up bedtime, and then finish getting everything ready for my in-laws to come in. And like I said, I'm hoping the podcast can stay on a regular schedule, but I don't know. I am hoping to be in Houston next weekend for a 24-hour period for the Houston Fiber Fest. I hope that will still be able to happen. Hopefully they won't be mad that I'm, going, and I already planned to go there, since I didn't find out that they were coming till after I'd committed to that. So hopefully that'll all be good, and I hope to see some of you there. If you're at the Houston Fiber Fest, please come up to me and say hi. I'm going to try to remember to bring buttons or something. But yeah, it should be exciting, and hopefully I will see you back next Sunday. If not, then I will post it somewhere. But yeah, until then, have a great week, and I hope you get to do all the things you love. Okay, bye guys.